Alright, let's play Black Deck Gold Stake Balatro until I win. The hook's a difficult MT1 boss. None of these tags are interesting, so I'll just go into the first anti. And a Jack Straight is immediately available. The problem with this type of Jack Straight is that it doesn't win in one hand. Since there are 4 diamonds, I'll try for a diamond flush, and this is strong enough to win. In one hand, so I get an extra money from that. Green Joker is good enough even on black deck. Now, here I want to go for the diamonds, and because I don't have any mult on Green Joker, I can discard without any consequence. So that's a flush with an immediate +1 mult. And now I just try to script to get some winning hands. And a pair of jacks was apparently enough for that. Here I can take the Empress card. I can look at the Buffoon pack. I think I want to look at the Buffoon pack in case I get an economy Joker. Reserve parking is economy, but without any discards, it does not pay for itself. Here, DNA is nice for building very strong, consistent builds, but on black deck it's very hard to build around because you have a lot of trouble finding a particular card. Early game, I think I want the chips, so I'll go with the Slide Joker. It also transitions nicely into a 2-pair or a paired build. Here, I could try like farming Green Joker a bit, but it's the hook, so you get random discards, which makes that not really feasible. And that's NT1. These 2 tags are not very interesting, so most likely I won't skip any of them. On black deck, skipping NT2 tends to be very powerful because, like, even if I win this round with a single hand, I'm only earning 2 money. But in contrast, most likely I'm not even winning it with 2 hands. Like, yeah, it just took all 3 hands. And I only barely won. And based off of that, I think I'll take To-Do List and even Steven. To-Do List is not active here, and it probably won't be for most of the time. But eventually it'll be on a useful. Oh, actually I did get a random straight. So it did pay for itself. I can't afford the tag. I don't want to sell a Joker for it. High card is interesting for To-Do List, but it's very risky. My scoring is just barely enough. I want to go for the Arcana pack because oftentimes you get a random judgment. In this case, it's not very useful. But the other part is that you get scoring tarot cards such as Hierophant. And I have even Steven even, so there's value in discarding the odd cards via the pair of eights, but the 2 isn't that worthwhile. Okay, it looks like I can farm one hand with to-do list. It looks safe enough for that, so but I need the other hand to be scoring. And then a straight, that's not going to be viable, I believe. Here, let's go for the Bethune pack first. 80 chips for flush. That's not really useful. I could sell these jokers for the hermit, but I don't think that would be too useful. Instead, I'll just justice a 6. Both ice cream and popcorn are very powerful early game jokers, but I don't think I need them. The tags are again not useful. Yeah, I think I'll sell both of these and a pair of 2s. I don't know if that's going to be good enough. There's 8s, there's 10s, 4s. Yeah, this is not go too well. Let's do a spectral pack and immolate. Yeah, that's the best one. And 2's got killed 9's 110. Pretty good immolate targets as well. Ice cream's pretty nice for scoring. And then that's on flush, which probably isn't too valuable. Let's take a pair for both a fallback hand and something to play, maybe build towards later. But most likely, well, I mean, with green joker, pair is not that bad. Although chips are definitely an issue when going for pairs. So if ice cream scoring right now is actually pretty nice, but ice cream melts and that's not going to last. Crystal ball would be nice, but I don't think I can afford it. Venus is the most probable hand from that. And I guess I also bite the Pluto. Huh. So because of the planet code, 2 feels actually weaker than pair right now. So I guess this is a pale build now. Fours, sixes, sevens. I don't know how long I want to keep up with the even Steven. But that makes more even cards. I'll sell the to-do list for interest here. Plus 70 on green juggle, so it's slightly better than a banana. 8 level juggle. Scoring is kind of an issue right now. And that's not a good hit from the planet pack. Or celestial pack. Ice cream's down to 55. Yeah. A sand size and finally another Mercury. The only choice there was Emperor because the other two didn't really do anything. Here is probably Hermit. So I get that back to earning interest, and I cannot really afford the voucher. Oof. Yeah, chips are an issue right now. That's because I only have level 3 pairs. If you want to go for something like a pair build, you really need to upgrade the pairs or have some other source of chips, because otherwise you're effectively losing a ×2 simply from the lack of chips. Okay, yeah, that was just barely winning. This looks like a loss now. Yep. could not find any good scaling Jokos. So let's try again. Alright, here is a holographic tag and a charm tag. Holographic is interesting because you can high roll into a good holographic Joko and that will just beat ante 1, 2, and 3 for you automatically. But on Gold Stick, it's oftentimes a rental or a perishable, in which case the bigger issue is the rental holographic Joko. Because not only did you skip a blind, most importantly, the first anti-blinds, I believe, are guaranteed to have Jokos in them, and this isn't true for the second or third antis. So you could end up going Jokerless for 3 antis, and that's almost unwinnable. So while some people like picking that for black deck, I think it's actually a trap most of the time. Yeah, this happens sometimes where, because you have 3 hands, you will sometimes actually just lose the first blind. Whereas if you forced flushes, normally you wouldn't run into hands like that. Eek. Okay, that's a reasonable flush, but I don't think it wins. Oh, it did, just barely. The idol is pretty strong late game, but it's very difficult to build into. And between Colomance and Riffraff is, I believe, the strongest Joko for black deck. Now normally I would pick the investment tag here. Actually no, I'll still pick the investment tag because I'm versus the pillow. $60 chips is almost enough to win, I think. Oh, it wasn't even close. But that's because I was playing a 2-pair, which is not a well-scoring hand, unlike a flush or straight or full house. The banner is not very good, I think, so I'll just sell it immediately. Since I have even Steven, I'll just use Strength Fail. Here I'll make a devil card for money later. And I'll buy the Earth because even Steven encourages 2-pair, full house, and well, general pairing builds. Another devil, now sell that and buy an Empress. Supernova, okay, that encourages me to, well, continue playing 2 pairs. Eights are pretty high for even cards, so I'll just Empress them. And then continue using pairs for the Supernova. Mistake there. I actually should have sold the popcorn for the interest and because I did not need it for scoring. Throwback. Okay, that's X mult. But I don't think you can scale fast. It's very difficult to scale fast enough with throwback unless you're doing something very specific. I'll sell the popcorn and open, I guess, one celestial pack. Reroll and 8s. Okay, that's actually pretty nice with even Steven. This probably wins. Let's see if we get any Arcana packs. Okay, a stall which is not useful. Like if you're going for a particular suit, stall rough benefits from rough gym, which is honestly poor economy. What you want for the late game is something like hearts for the bloodstone or clubs and spades for blackboard. Stalls are the stall Arcana card is just a weird middle ground. But it's just the weakest one. Hierophant is interesting here. I think I'll just take the Temperance. This tag is terrible. I'll also buy the Sun. And then sell the Clown. It's not too late to build Square Joker, but I'm not sure if I need it. What I really want is a source of mult. And currently I'm just slowly building mult from Supernova. Certificate's pretty powerful, but I'm not sure if I have the consistency because I already have one slot filled by Riffraff. So this is it's effectively playing a normal deck except you have one field or hand. So I actually need to care a bit more about what Jokers I'm running. I think I'll start building the square because it pairs well with Supernova. And I won't take the certificate. Those don't have seals, so I'm not interested. Invisible Joker does not hit anything worthwhile right now. Yeah. I'll take the oops all 6s right now. Because it synergizes with the 8 ball, but also long term it synergizes with magician cards, which I have a personal bias towards. Ah, this was wrong because I was supposed to square up. I like upgrading the purple seal cards and setting purple seal on important cards. Even though I'll probably end up playing them because it's not that likely you end up being able to discard them, and if you ever copy them, you're copying a useful card. I could Ecto, but I'd have to sell some of my Jokos because I don't want to keep these long term. Hex is also an option. I think because I have Riffraff specifically out and a lot of money, I'll go for the Hex. This is like really risky. And like, yeah. Yeah, that's a loss. Taking Hextail was probably not correct. But I tend to like taking plays like that. So I was going for a flush, but sometimes you get random straights and being able to win with black deck oftentimes depends on being able to find those serendipitous hands. Like, though I had a strong 2-pair, which might have been enough even with an abstract joker at +3, but discarding I got a full house, which is just enough with a well, which is basically almost enough by itself on the second blind of anti-1. I think I can build up a... Well, Square Joker is buildable with black deck even if you have one fewer hands. So I'll go for it, and it's a good source of chips. Even if it's weaker than it normally is. And that's a Mercury. And a mailing rebate. It's a needle. Okay, that's a bit scary. With the Mercury card and a +9 abstract joker, I think the hands will score decently well, so I'm just going to play 2 high cards to build Square Joker and to fish for the 10. I think 2-pair is probably stronger though, but it doesn't really matter. And I'll buy nothing to save for interest. Yeah, that scored about half. So I think this... I almost forgot to check for the mailing rebate. Yeah, I missed the 10 from that. Okay, green Joker actually kind of synergizes with square Joker, but I don't think it's worth a rental. I'll take the jumbo pack first. Raise Fit's really strong. It might be a bit too strong pairing with Square Joker because it makes it harder to build Square Joker. But I do think scoring is an issue, especially versus the Needle. And I went for the Buffoon pack first because that makes Temperance better. If I got it from the Arcana pack, but I didn't. Yeah, because my Joker slots aren't filled, I'll go with the Judgment. And with the mailing rebate, I feel safe enough to buy the voucher. And I'll also buy the even card because again, this is the Needle. I think I respect this boss enough that I'm just going to play a hand without trying to screw it up. And the Grabble. Red card at 12 is not likely to get built up. Hierophant's nice, but I'd rather take the Arcana cards over one. Four of a kind's not that interesting. Okay, I did discard. I didn't find a king to discard. And I'll put this deal on the king. Long time, I don't think I'm going to stick with even Steven because it's not really that much mult. It's only +8 when going for pairs. So like even Raised Fist. Well, I mean, Raised Fist is pretty strong, but Raised Fist is better. The Empire is... It's situational, like it's really strong with Midas Mask, but a lot of times it just doesn't really do much of anything. I'll talisman to 10 because I have even Steven, so I want to focus on even cards. And that's a nice bonus for valuing rebate. Okay. Sell it in case I get an immediate rebate, and I did not. A judgment for smiley face, and like, yeah, even smiley face is better than even Steven. And that's a Mercury. So I don't have any economy generation left, so I'll just save for interest. Yeah, with raised fist and ice cream, the scoring is high enough that I can't really build a Square Joker all that much. Nice, another Mercury. There's the voucher that I will take. Looking for the 10. Got it. The steel card is on king, so I'll just devil the king. Yeah, I won't take the voucher quite yet because it's maybe slightly easier to build Square Joker right now. I like having tags on upgraded cards because oftentimes you want to copy seal cards, and if it's upgraded already, you get a free upgrade when you copy it. Here, I don't really... None of these options are all that good, so I'll just take the bubble seal and leave it at that. Except the big blind. So I won't take the voucher just yet. And Shoot the Moon's very nice early game mult. To the moon. I mean, it pays for itself. I don't think it's worth a slot. Death card is always very nice. But I don't think I want to death any of that. And finally pick up the Hierophant. No seals, unfortunately. I'm the Hieroglyph. Hieroglyph if black deck is pretty risky because you only have 3 hands to begin with, so going down to 2 hands, normally you go from 4 to 3, so it's a 20. So you lose 25% of your power, but with if you only have 3 hands, you lose like 33%, which is much worse. I guess I'll play the 2s. And have the king onto the 10. And remember to play 5 cards because it's the psychic. I actually often lose to the psychic because I forget to play 5 cards, embarrassingly enough. It's just that... Even though there's like a warning there, I'm just like on autopilot a lot of the time. Strength and Hermit, both of those look pretty nice. How many times have we played Pairs? 13, so Supernova is a plus 13. It's better than Smiley Face or even Steven. So I guess I'll sell that and start playing face cards finally. None of these are usable. But I might as well play the full house because it scales much faster than 2-pill. And a blue seal, that's nice. Oh, right. I forgot I had Shoot the Moon, so I actually should have used Strength on the Jack there to make it a Queen. And this looks like a pretty good setup. Now, the only thing I really want would be a way to start removing cards from my deck. The sun's kinda interesting here because with pale builds you're incentivized to go towards spades and clubs because of blackboard. And because the heart scales better when you play more cards, and with pairs you only play 2 cards. But you oftentimes do like a late game transition from pairs to like 2 pairs, full houses, flush houses, etc. So hearts are not that bad. So I kind of want to keep it. But I think the correct action is to sell. There's some consideration to only playing 2 cards there, but I'm mostly beating these blinds with one hand, so getting some build up for Square Joker is nice. Card Shop is one of the jokers to look for scaling X mod on builds, because it's very easy to build pairs. I guess I take it over Smiley. Later in the game, I don't think I want any number cards in the deck, so that's why I didn't use Strength there. To just simply convert the 7 to 8, and because that I got another Queen. Okay, 88,000 is pretty good scoring. So assuming nothing goes too wrong, there should be an easy road to victory. I think I prefer the pair level for another magician. Yeah, not seeing pairs from the celestial packs. I have an extra hand, so I think I can just play a high card here for the 3 money and the Square Joker build up. Not selling the Pluto because I don't care. I like it if it doesn't show up in the shop here. And it actually would have been correct to not sell, to not immediately use it when going to the Celestial Pack, because then there's no chance of Pluto appearing, so there's a higher chance of Mercury appearing, which is the one I actually want. I'll buy 4 of a kind over Pluto because it's getting later into the game, and like I have 8 queens. At some point in time, making 4 of a kind will be feasible. Face cards from face down. Okay, this one triggered, so I know that's a queen, and that means these 2 are kings. clubs debuff, not really a concern. I guess I'll take a queen because I have shoot the moon. I haven't been seeing many Mercury cards, so I'll just use it there. Instead of taking another Hierophant. And I use it here so Mercury has a chance of pairing in the shop. Finally a Hangman, and then I use that to get a Hangman again. I still have one more blind. I am interested in the voucher because there were maybe, well, I don't know, I think I might have faced the needle already, but like there were some, for every single deck there's like some boss which is very difficult to deal with. Ice cream's only on 10 chips. So I'll probably sell it after this hand. I guess I ordered the code seal. I didn't quite like using Jack there because it increased the chance I missed on a on a pair, but it didn't end up being an issue. 174,000, halfway there to the 400,000 for the anti-8 boss. The Flint. The Flint's a bit scary. So I guess I'll spend a bit more there. Yeah, having several blue seals is pretty... Well, having 2 blue seals is nice, so I can, like, always build up for that. I prefer Crush Michelle over Flash Code because eventually this is going to go extinct. And Cavendish is pretty good. Darrow's really powerful, but I think it's a bit too late to try. It's a bit risky right now to go forward. I had an extra hand, so I could afford to play high card though, and yeah, didn't think scoring was that big of an issue though. Sock and Pestkin, pretty strong normally. In this case, I don't think it's that useful. Well, Raised Fist is the only one that does anything there. And it's okay, although not that exciting at this point in the game. The mine, however, is a lot more interesting. It works with steel code cards like blue seals, red seals on steel cards, There's like a lot of cards and jokers that it works with, and that includes Shoot the Moon. I don't think this wins. Yeah, it did not. I guess I just use it to make space for the Emperor. Temperance, Borrowed. Okay. All cards debuffed until one joker sold. Probably selling Abstract Joker in that case. Gremlin's cell is surprisingly not always a good thing because there's like a joker that benefits from the cell value of your other jokers, and then it also decreases temperance value. But in this case, I don't think it matters too much. Like, yeah, temperance is only 10, even though I have 6 jokers. Do I take the 2 pill? No, it's... Oh, death is nice. Oh, that was strength. One more strength away from being a queen. So I mentioned the director's cut being pretty valuable because there are certain bosses that are very difficult to deal with, and now that I turn those 10s into jacks, the plant which debuffs all face cards would be one of them. Because all of my scoring right now is based on face cards, essentially. Another blue seal is interesting. The queen's also interesting, but I think I want my deck to be smaller. And that's not exciting enough. A judgment, so I guess I can just sell Abstract Joker and immediately replace it with a Nazo Joker. Which is a bit cheeky, I guess. So black deck, even though it has only 3 hands to start with, you can still build Square Joker. It's still good enough. I kinda want the other steel. And yeah, I'm not really scared of this boss. Hey, blue choco chips. First hand kinda doesn't really matter because it's not generally going to score well compared to any of your other hands. And that's an upgraded queen. I just sell the stall card and this should be a win. Yep. Green Joker. I mean, I guess I might as well take it. It doesn't really do anything. Yeah, at some point the deck is going to turn into all queens. I'm not sure if I survive long enough for that. Like, this boss is difficult. Since I don't have... Well, I need to find another source of X mult. Like, yeah, I already needed to use all hands on the big blind. Polychrome Arrowhead. That is super terrible for this build, but it's like... it's kind of good enough, honestly. A Wraith. There are a lot of Joko... Well, what Jokos would be good there? Peso would just be 1.5. Brainstorm and Blueprint are obviously great. Obelisk would be too slow. Vagabond would be useless. All of the X mult for particular hands are not good, so I guess this is just a skip. And yeah, that's not good enough. I could have rewrote the boss into something that was more winnable, but this wasn't going to get too much farther without finding a good Joko in the shop. And that's black deck. Another pair build. Okay.